Welcome to episode 1 of Assetization Radio. Today, we are covering assetization and tokenization.
Okay, let's jump right in. Welcome to the deep dive. We take your source material, unpack it, and get you the key insights fast. Today, we're digging into something the sources cover extensively.
Tokenization.
Right, tokenization. So, basically taking a real-world asset. Could be anything, really.
Yeah.
Property, art, bonds.
Yeah.
And creating its digital representation, its ownership, as a token on a blockchain, like a secure digital twin.
A digital twin, okay. And the sources connect this to something broader they call assetization.
Exactly. Assetization is that long historical trend of turning things into assets you can trade.
Okay.
And the idea is tokenization massively speeds this up, the goal. Systems that are open to everyone, fast, liquid, transparent.
Got it. So our mission today, using your sources, is to kind of trace this whole story.
Yep. From, ancient ownership ideas through blockchain's quiet start to where we are now with real-world assets or RWAs.
With hurdles.
The hurdles, definitely, and what the future might look like. And that future includes this holy grail, the sources mention, atomic settlement.
Yes. Atomic settlement. That's the big vision.
Yep.
Exchanging the asset and the payment instantly, simultaneously, right on the chain. No waiting.
Wow. Okay, so to really get this, we need to look back, right? The sources mention, ancient Rome.
Yeah, they do. They talk about Dominium Roman, individual property rights, and these really formal ceremonies, Mancipatio, for transferring ownership publicly.
So, early trust systems.
Sort of, yeah, like medieval deeds or those manorial court rolls. They were slow, physical, but they were creating trusted records. Blockchain's kind of the modern take on that fundamental need for a tamper-proof ledger.
Fascinating. So it's an old problem with a very new solution. What about financial assets? The sources mention Mesopotamia, 2500 BC.
I know, incredible, isn't it? Cuneiform tablets recording, essentially, shares and bonds for financing trade. Way back then.
Mind-blowing.
And that just continues, right? You get the 17th century East India companies with permanent capital, shares trading openly.
Leading to stock exchanges, London, New York.
Exactly. London, 1801, NYSE, 1792. The sources point out each step was abstracting ownership more, from land to paper, making it easier to split and trade. Tokenization is just the next logical step, potentially global and way more divisible.
Okay, so that history sets the stage. Then comes the digital age. Precursors in the 80s, 90s, Haber, Stornetta, Szabo's BitGold.
Right, the cryptographic groundwork was being laid. But the sources really peg Bitcoin's emergence in 2008 to the financial crisis.
Distrust in the old system.
Totally. Nakamoto's paper proved decentralized ledgers could work. But the key shift was realizing, hey, this blockchain thing isn't just for money. It can track anything.
And then came Ethereum in 2014. That was the smart contract piece.
Bingo. Smart contracts. That's what the sources call programmable ownership, embedding the rules right into the token. That dead man switch idea, they mentioned assets moving automatically based on code, shows the power.
Huge. So people started trying this with real assets, like colored coins.
Yeah, those were early experiments on Bitcoin. But Ethereum's ERC20 standard in 2015 really standardized things for tokens. And that 2018 Manhattan condo tokenization, the sources highlight.
A big milestone.
Yeah, showed it could work even for big illiquid things like real estate.
But the sources are really clear on this. The biggest roadblock for a long time wasn't technology, it was regulation.
Absolutely. Regulatory uncertainty. How would this stuff be treated legally? Could you really enforce ownership of a tokenized house across borders? That held things back.
Until recently, the 2021-23 period.
Exactly. Sources call it a breakthrough. You start seeing clearer rules in places like Singapore, Switzerland, the EU. Plus, the tech got better scalability, ways for institutions to hold these things securely. The bikes got built.
And now the big players are moving in. BlackRock, JP Morgan.
Yep. The sources list them. BlackRock tokenizing treasuries in their BUIDL fund, JPM using blockchain for repo collateral, Hong Kong issuing tokenized green bonds. It's not just crypto startups anymore.
That's a major signal. So what are the big benefits the sources keep highlighting for you listening?
Well, enhanced liquidity is a big one, making hard-to-sell assets easier to trade. But maybe the most exciting is fractional ownership.
Breaking down big-ticket items.
Precisely. Think real estate, or that James Ensor painting mentioned. Stuff usually only reachable by the super rich. Now, potentially, you could buy a tiny fraction via a token.
Democratizing investment, basically. Lowering the bar.
That's the idea. Plus, potential cost savings, fewer middlemen, and more transparency from the public ledger.
Okay, but it's not all smooth sailing. Challenges remain. Regulation is still evolving.
Oh, yeah. That legal enforceability question, does the token equal ownership or just represent it, is still tricky in many places. And T+0 settlement.
Instant settlement, the dream.
Right. But some regulators, the sources note, see the current delay, T+1, as a feature, not a bug. It gives time for checks and balances. It's complicated.
And technical hurdles, the Oracle problem.
Yeah, getting reliable real-world data onto the blockchain accurately in the first place, that's crucial, but hard. And interoperability, making sure different blockchains can talk to each other, avoiding new silos.
Plus systemic risks. Faster trading could mean faster crashes.
It's a concern the sources raise, yeah. Need to think about stability, too.
Okay. So challenges exist, but the future vision is pretty huge. Those projections, $16 trillion, $30 trillion.
The numbers are massive. BCG, Deloitte, they see huge growth by 2030, 2034 across all assets. Real estate, finance, art, carbon credits, infrastructure, you name it.
And that idea of programmable ownership, atomic settlement, it feels like it's getting closer, even with the work still needed.
It does feel that way. So wrapping this up for you, we've gone from ancient clay tablets to digital twins on a global ledger. Tokenization, these sources argue, is a major step in that long story of assetization.
Definitely offers big potential wins: access, liquidity, efficiency. But as the sources balance it, real hurdles remain: regulatory, technical, systemic.
For sure. But the momentum is there now. You can't deny it. Driven by clearer rules and big institutions getting involved.
So the likely future is maybe a mix. TradFi stability meets blockchain efficiency.
Seems plausible based on the material. A hybrid system.
Okay, final thought for you to chew on based on all this. As value itself becomes like native to the internet, potentially any asset can be verified and swapped instantly. What new doors does that open? Or maybe what new risks does that create specifically for you?
Good morning, and in case we don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.